Hello everyone, I'm Eternal Flame here, and welcome to What If Killua Was in Jujutsu Kaisen. Now, if you were expecting this to be a story video, this really isn't made to be a story type of video. However, if you guys do want to see what I think would happen in Jujutsu Kaisen, how the story would go if Killua was in Jujutsu Kaisen with what I'm putting out in this video, then I would be down to do it if this video gets enough support. However, the point of this video is basically to try and convert Killua's backstory into Jujutsu Kaisen and see what would happen if we can convert Killua's backstory and most of all his Nen techniques into curse techniques and see how strong he would end up being as a Jujutsu sorcerer. However, before we even get into this video, be sure to like and subscribe if I can make content like this. And let's get straight into the video. Now, the reason that I'm doing it in this specific way and not just isekai and Killua into the world is because I think isekai and Killua into the world is just extremely boring. However, I find it extremely interesting to apply characters and what we know about them and their journey and see what would happen if they went through everything in their journey the same in a different power system and in a different world. And just see where they would end up stacking if we take everything we know about that character and their journey and how powerful they would become if they were within that world. Which is what we're going to do with Killua in Jujutsu Kaisen today. The reason why we're starting with Killua is because I love Killua, and I find Killua a much more interesting character to talk about for how powerful they would end up being in Jujutsu Kaisen, rather than someone like Gon. However, if you guys want to see a video like this for Gon, I can easily make one for Gon as well, but I did want to start out with Killua first. Now, the first thing I feel I need to talk about is Killua's immense potential, because Killua's potential is absolutely insane, especially when translated over to Jujutsu Kaisen. In the world of Hunter x Hunter, Killua is considered a 1 in 10 million level of prodigy, basically saying he has the biggest amount of talent out of every one of the Zoldyck family assassins, down to the point where he's an insane level of prodigy that is going to become the head of the family later on. We all know Killua is absolutely insane and shows off insane levels of growth throughout Hunter x Hunter, and now you're translating that level of prodigy over to Jujutsu Kaisen, a world where innate potential matters quite a lot, and Killua definitely satisfies the requirements for that. If I were to put Killua's innate potential anywhere, I would say he's somewhere around the levels of Yuta and Yuji, if not maybe even better if we're just bringing him over, which is already something insane and nuts to start out with for a character like this. And this is where we're going to get into the first difference between Jujutsu Kaisen's power system and Hunter x Hunter's power system that ends up massively buffing Killua even more. Because I would argue Killua gets to start at a much better position in Jujutsu Kaisen than he even gets to start out in Hunter x Hunter, which is nuts. And that is because of how cursed energy functions in Jujutsu Kaisen and how you can get more cursed energy. Everyone has different varying amounts of cursed energy. However, you are able to turn your negative emotions, your pain and your anger and your fear into more cursed energy for you to utilize, whether consciously or subconsciously. However, it's much more efficient when you do it consciously. Now, I'm not going to grant Killua that extremely early on because, like in canon, for some reason, Killua doesn't know about Nen existing until after the Hunter's exam. So Killua is not going to learn about cursed energy existing, and he's only going to have the same amount of time that he has to actually explore cursed energy here as he does to explore Nen in canon, which is about a yearish, 2-ish years. I currently don't remember the exact time frame, but I know it's in between that amount of time. However, the reason why this is so important is because of Killua's training and how early Killua's training starts. Killua felt an extreme amount of isolation ever since he was a kid, and he had to deal with massive amounts of torture, basically, in order to become immune to electricity and have an extremely high pain tolerance. Like, he literally states he's been playing life or death games of hide and seek ever since he was a kid, and now you're granting that type of person a power system that makes you stronger and get more cursed energy from negative emotions. That's going to be nuts for someone like Killua, considering his past and his already extremely high levels of potential that's being brought over to this world for him to start out with. Which is all going to result in so much cursed energy that Killua will be able to get to use later on the more he learns about cursed energy. But he's not going to have access to it immediately, but this is more so it's going to be a dormant type of cursed energy that is going to be massive. Now up next is Killua's actual physical prowess, which is going to be quite high in the world of Jujutsu Kaisen. Now, I think he'd be around Yuji's level in terms of physical prowess without cursed energy reinforcement on both ends. However, that's still pretty insane considering Yuji is basically superhuman in terms of physical levels even without cursed energy. he would be basically a heavenly restriction user like Maki. Pre-awakening Maki, I want that to be very noted in specific, but he'd still be on that insane physical level, like of basically superhuman, peak human types of things in Jujutsu Kaisen without cursed energy reinforcements, that it would be nuts. Because of how the Zoldyck family specifically trains, basically everything in the Zoldyck family estate being extremely weighted, it would all make for an extremely good Jujutsu sorcerer that is Killua, who'd be pretty well balanced with just high stats and everything. And this is all before he gains access to things like how to control curse energy and curse energy reinforcement, which I'm going to get into now, on how this would really help Killua heavily, especially with curse energy reinforcement, before we even get into converting his Nen ability into a curse technique, because that's going to be the more fun part of this video, I'll tell you guys that now. As we find out through Yuji and Yuta's battle that happens after Shibuya, that Yuta has much more cursed energy than Yuji. However, Yuji's physical strength is allowing him to be able to keep up with Yuta Akotsu, despite Yuta's massive cursed energy reserves, because Yuta is incredibly physically weak. Now you're taking basically the best of both worlds, where I don't think Killua is going to have as much cursed energy as Yuta, or be as physically strong as Yuji. He's going to be close enough to both of them because of everything, that it's going to be absolutely insane, and his level of reinforcements is going to be incredible. Like, off pure reinforcement alone, he should easily be in the grade 1 category, if not high-end grade 1, because of everything established with Killua's immense base physical stats, and Killua learning how to control the amount of cursed energy that would have generated across his life, because he did not exactly have the best life and had one filled with extreme amounts of negative emotions. Stack that with his massive potential, and Killua is going to be incredible. And this is an advantage Killua has in this world that he doesn't have in the Hunter x Hunter world. Like, it's mainly enhancers who are going to be incredibly strong in the Hunter x Hunter world because of how basic they can be with their abilities, since there are basically 6 categories of abilities they can fall into. With Jujutsu Kaisen, it's a bit more simple than that, where there aren't exactly typings of abilities that are going to end up making someone physically weaker or stronger on average and allow them to have an easier time focusing on their basic enhancement and stuff like that. Killua is going to be able to get a large amount of buffs through reinforcements as a result of being in the world of Jujutsu Kaisen and all of his previous training. Stack that with his already insane levels of assassin skills because of how skilled he is as an assassin, and the fact that he is one of the most skilled assassins in Hunter x Hunter, with his ability to move completely quietly, as well as the rhythm echo, which I would count the rhythm echo as just a normal thing he could do without curse energy, considering it's the same and that's how it functions in Hunter x Hunter as well for some reason. So yeah, Killua was already going to be pretty nuts. As soon as he even gets access to cursed energy reinforcement, it's going to make him even more powerful and even more insane of a prodigy that can easily enter into the grade 1 category, even without his Nen ability being transferred into a cursed technique. So yeah, Killua is probably going to be in the levels of people like Kusakabe, just by entering and learning how to control his cursed energy, as well as learning it as fast as he did, because he was able to learn how to control his Nen and refine it in a few days. And now you're transferring that level of talent in towards the world of Jujutsu Kaisen. He is going to be grade 1 extremely early on, let alone later into the series where he just gets better and better. But now I'm going to actually talk about his Nen abilities and how that would translate into Jujutsu Kaisen abilities, and why he actually benefits a lot from his Nen abilities being transferred into abilities in Jujutsu Kaisen, and how much more busted he gets as a result of that. So now I'm going to make the comparison to one of Jujutsu Kaisen's characters that a few of you have likely already made the comparison to for who Killua is going to be most like in the world of Jujutsu Kaisen, which is the fighter known as Hajime Kashimo with his lightning cursed energy trait. And while I do think Killua would basically end up getting a lightning cursed energy trait as a result of his cursed technique, he isn't going to get Kashimo's cursed technique either, because I don't want to give him that, and that'd be really boring for this video, and I really want to try translating Killua's Nen ability into his cursed technique, because there are a lot of fun things that can be done with that, and I just want to focus more on the lightning aspect of it instead. Now up first, Killua and Kashimo do actually fight incredibly similar, where instead of actually using their lightning as main attacks most of the time, or just throwing lightning at people, they use their lightning as support towards their abilities in order to paralyze people temporarily through shocking them, while relying on their incredible level of reinforcement and actual combat ability in order to fight people directly in hand-to-hand combat. However, in this, Killua is also going to have the additional access to things like the Rhythm Echo, which is going to be useful for confusing opponents alongside his other abilities. And I think think Killua is going to delve deeper into manipulating the cursed energy, which is what his curse technique is going to be. Where his normal cursed energy trait is just lightning based, his curse technique is going to be converting his cursed energy and creating lightning through his cursed energy, as well as manipulating said lightning for several applications, similar to what his Nen ability is in the world of Hunter x Hunter as a transmuter. Now, the reason that I believe he would explore his ability a lot more than Kashima did is because he has a few more applications that would be translated into the world of Jujutsu Kaisen that would actually probably be better in the world of Jujutsu Kaisen. And the first ability that I'm going to focus on is his ability known as Lightning Palm, which Lightning Palm is one of his basic abilities where he focuses a large amount of lightning through his palms in order to strike someone and push them back, while also paralyzing them through the massive amount of electricity going through their body. In the world of Hunter x Hunter, it's not actually that strong of an ability, and it's more so made for stunning people rather than actually landing attacks that are hard on people. But the thing is, I can see this just easily being turned into just a much stronger version of the passive trait of Curse Energy and the passive effect of touching Killua that is going to happen, where you get stunned as a result of touching his Cursed Energy. But this is going to be a massively hyper version of it because it's all focused down to his palms, resulting in it doing even more damage in the world of Jujutsu Kaisen than it would do in the world of Hunter x Hunter, because it is focused a lot more. So this would lead to an incredible stunning ability that would also be able to cause a lot of pushback and do decent amount of damage that could especially be dangerous for a fighter like Killua, because it would give Killua moments to actually land attacks on you while you can't fight back because you are so incredibly stunned from the attack from the Lightning Palm. However, there are other abilities that Killua has access to that's even better. For example, the Thunderbolt ability, which the Thunderbolt ability is literally just the Lightning Palm ability, but turning it into projectile instead, where Killua leaps into the air above the opponent and projects a bolt of lightning from his fingers, paralyzing them for a few moments and causing them incredible amounts of pain. Because while this it didn't look like it did any damage to Yuppie or it did Ramit, it still was able to hurt them nonetheless, and that is incredibly impressive. And it's being translated into the world of Jujutsu Kaisen now to make a massive lightning bolt. And to give a comparison, Kashima's lightning bolt was able to take off limbs from people's body. Now, I don't think the lightning bolt here would be as powerful as Kashima's lightning bolt, because Kashima's lightning bolt requires several hits to be landed and several charges to be formed. However, I do think Killua's lightning bolt would be a much more potent attack in the world of Jujutsu Kaisen than it would be in the world of Hunter x Hunter nonetheless, thanks to the ability and how strong it actually is, and how much lightning is needed in order to perform that ability. However, it's not really a spammable ability nonetheless. The other reason why it would be much more powerful in the world of Hunter x Hunter is because Killua is starting at a much better point in comparison to the world of Hunter x Hunter in terms of Nen value to cursed energy amount. Because in this world, Killua is also going to have his past and his backstory, basically amping up the amount of cursed energy he's going to start with when he learns to actually train and control it, and then on top of that, he's going to have 1 year of training in order to make these abilities, and it's all just going to be absolutely nuts, and make for incredibly potent abilities because of how much cursed energy Killua has, and how much he can even pour into the Thunderbolt and attacks like this. Aside that, with Jujutsu Kaisen being much more equivalent exchange where you can lose something in order to gain something type of a verse, and this ability would just go ham. However, this isn't even the best of Killua's abilities, because we're now going to talk about the ability you likely all wanted to hear me talk about, Killua's Godspeed ability, and how broken that would be in the world of Jujutsu Kaisen. Now, in order to understand how broken Godspeed would be, we first need to go over the two abilities that make up Godspeed and why that would be so busted in the world of Jujutsu Kaisen, which the first ability is Whirlwind, which Whirlwind basically allows Killua to automatically set up responses in his brain to transmit a signal through his cursed energy manipulation in this universe in order to automatically make his body respond to any attacks. This has good applications both offensively and defensively, because it basically allows him to cut out any reaction time needed, as well as react to everything near instantly. It's what makes Killua so fast. It is the fact that he is able to cut out the small amount of time needed to think on attacks, and he can just do it instantly, which is going to translate extremely well in the world of Jujutsu Kaisen, because now he's just basically going to be set up on a reflex to do everything near instantly. And then the other ability that's stacked into this is known as Speed of Lightning, which increases both his running speed and jumping speed, which allows him to cover short amounts of distance, as well as being incredibly fast. However, these abilities on their own are extremely good, but once added together to make Godspeed, it makes an incredible mode. One where he's able to use Speed of Lightning to its full capability without needing to think on where he's going, think about his next move, because Killua's body will move automatically in order to block and do any attack and just rapidly wail on a person with mass amounts of lightning constantly coursing through him. Because in Godspeed, he basically has the lightning palm constantly activated, and each of his attacks are basically paralyzing attacks. Stack that with Killua's extreme amount of speed he is going to gain through Godspeed, and in my opinion, if Killua gets Godspeed translated over into this world, especially with this basically being two abilities that would need to be mastered and combined into one, it would allow Killua to easily become the fastest sorcerer in Jujutsu Kaisen, right behind Gojo, of course, making him the second fastest sorcerer. So overall, Killua is incredibly powerful, and he just has so much potential, because like, here's something really crazy about all of this. This is all assuming he only achieves what he achieves in Hunter x Hunter in Jujutsu Kaisen. He doesn't get a domain expansion, he doesn't get any of the other techniques he could have possibly learned, like reverse curse technique, any of that. And he only learns about cursed energy when he actually learns about it in canon, rather than in the actual time that I think he would learn about it, which he'd learn about it much younger, because it's much harder to hide cursed energy than it is to hide Nen, which, yeah, like, it even doesn't make sense that Killua didn't learn about Nen early on. I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys, especially considering he knows about Dragon Dive, but that's beside the point. It'd be much harder to hide cursed energy than it would be to hide Nen, considering how early you actually awaken cursed energy. And this is all assuming everything, and I mean everything, about Hunter x Hunter goes the same for Killua than it goes in Jujutsu Kaisen, with like the Chimera Ants probably being substituted for some cursed spirits that are like Chimera Ant like substitutes. Which that could be an interesting idea if you want to see what would happen if the Chimera Ant arc happened in Jujutsu Kaisen and how they would handle it. I'd be 100% down to do that in the future. If you guys do want to see that, I want to see enough comments for it telling me Jujutsu Kaisen Chimera Ant arc in the comment section below. But yeah, Killua would be insane. And here's the most craziest part about all of this. This is Killua while he's only 13 years old. He is younger than Ui Ui is right now. To keep that in mind, and he'd probably be on the level of the high-end grade 1 without talking about his curse technique. Now, he would not be given a special grade sorcerer rank, because even with everything I have given to Killua and all of the assumptions he's made, even though he is much more built for a world like Jujutsu Kaisen, so I think he'd be stronger in the world of Jujutsu Kaisen in comparison to his role generally in the world of Hunter x Hunter, where he's already an incredibly high-tier fighter, he wouldn't have the capability to take on an entire country on his own, which is a necessary requirement in order to become a special grade, because his abilities aren't suited to taking on a country. However, I do think he'd be able to fight against special grade level fighters like Yuta Okkotsu with Godspeed, or at least this new Isekai Jujutsu Kaisen Killua would be able to fight on the level of people like that. But what would be even more terrifying is what Killua could potentially achieve with even more time, because this is all talking about if he were to remain the exact same he did in Hunter x Hunter and achieved everything he did in Hunter x Hunter and his entire journey went the exact same. If he didn't learn anything else, if he didn't learn about Jujutsu Sorcery early, and if he didn't go to the Jujutsu High. However, if you guys do want to see me make a video on what would happen if Killua was in Jujutsu Kaisen and actually went to Jujutsu High with everybody else, be sure to leave a lot of likes on the video, and if this video does get enough support, I will start making that a series. And hey, I'm kind of curious what you guys think about this, where you guys think Killua would stack up if he was isekai'd into Jujutsu Kaisen. Maybe I'm downplaying him, maybe I'm highballing him. I want to see what you guys think in the comment section down below. I'm gonna see you all later. Peace out.